Commander Jamin Park stood at attention on the bridge of the Earth diplomatic vessel Unity. His dark uniform felt too tight as he watched Earth's first representatives approach the massive space station of the Galactic Council. The Unity was small compared to the alien ships nearby, some resembling crystal formations, others like biological organisms rather than constructed vessels. "Steady course, Lieutenant," Jamin said to the pilot. Though officially just security for the diplomats, his military training made him uneasy. Something didn't feel right. Ambassador Su-Young Lee adjusted her formal attire nervously. "Commander, do I look presentable for an interstellar first impression?" Jamin nodded respectfully. "Yes, Ambassador. Earth couldn't ask for a better representative." The Unity docked with the station, and the diplomatic team prepared to disembark. The airlock cycled open to reveal tall, thin beings with iridescent skin, representatives of the Council's welcoming committee. "Humans of Earth," one spoke through a translation device. "The Galactic Council acknowledges your achievement of faster-than-light travel. Please follow us." The Grand Chamber of the Council took Jamin's breath away. Hundreds of alien species sat in rising tiers around a central platform. Some looked almost human, others defied description. Ambassador Lee and her team stepped forward to address the assembly. "Honorable representatives," she began, "humanity comes in peace, seeking knowledge and friendship among the stars." Before she could continue, a harsh voice cut through the chamber. "Objection." A delegation of reptilian beings with crimson scales stood. Their leader, nearly 3 meters tall, pointed an accusing claw at the humans. "These creatures are barely out of their evolutionary infancy," the alien said. "The Vrillic Empire objects to their inclusion in galactic affairs. Their admission would be premature by at least 5 centuries." Murmurs spread throughout the chamber. Ambassador Lee stood tall. "With respect, we believe each species should be judged by their actions, not their age. Your species still fights among itself," the Vrillic representative hissed. "You pollute your world and kill your own kind. You are children playing with dangerous toys." The council moderator, a being of pure energy contained in a hovering sphere, moved forward. "The concerns of the Vrillic are noted, but all spacefaring races have the right to petition for observer status." As the debate continued, Jamin noticed several Vrillic representatives leaving the chamber. His military instincts flared. "Ambassador," he whispered urgently, "I recommend we return to the Unity immediately." She frowned. "Commander, this is a diplomatic mission. We can't simply." The chamber's lighting suddenly turned red as alarms blared. Unidentified vessels approaching the station at attack velocity announced the Council's security system. On the main display, ships with the same crimson markings as the Vrillic delegates appeared. Jamin grabbed the ambassador's arm. "We need to leave. Now." The council erupted in chaos as the first explosions rocked the station. Jamin and his security team formed a protective circle around the diplomats, rushing them back toward the docking bay. "Commander," his communications officer shouted over the noise, "the Unity reports 3 Vrillic warships have taken position around our vessel." A nearby wall exploded inward, sending debris flying. Through the smoke, armored Vrillic soldiers stormed in, weapons raised. "Get down." Jamin pushed the ambassador behind a fallen column as energy beams sizzled overhead. Earth's security team returned fire, but their weapons seemed ineffective against the advanced armor of the Vrillic. One by one, Jamin watched his people fall. "They're after the humans, specifically," shouted one of the council's security officers as he fired at the attackers. Ambassador Lee pulled a data drive from her pocket and pressed it into Jamin's hand. "This contains all our first contact protocols and Earth's coordinates. It cannot fall into hostile hands." "We're getting you out of here, Ambassador," Jamin insisted. She shook her head. "Someone must stay to maintain diplomatic presence. Your duty is to return to Earth with this warning." Before he could protest, more explosions shook the station. The path to the Unity was cut off by falling debris and advancing Vrillic troops. The diplomatic shuttles, suggested his remaining security officer. Bay 12. They changed direction, fighting through the chaos. Emergency bulkheads were closing throughout the station as sections lost pressure. They'd reached Bay 12 just as a group of Vrlik soldiers spotted them. In the shuttle. Go. Jam Min provided covering fire as his remaining team and a wounded diplomat boarded. Ambassador Lee hesitated. Commander, you must come too. Right behind you, he promised. As she entered the shuttle, a Vrlik energy beam struck the ambassador in the back. Jan Min caught her falling body, seeing the life already fading from her eyes. Tell Earth, prepare, she whispered before going limp. Rage and grief threatened to overwhelm him, but military discipline prevailed. He placed her body in the shuttle and took the pilot's seat, initiating emergency launch procedures. The small shuttle burst from the bay as the station continued to break apart around them. On the view screen, Jang Min watched in horror as the Unity exploded, destroyed by Vrlik warships. Sir, his communications officer said, voice shaking, there are no other human ships responding to hails. The shuttle raced away from the station, but 3 Vrlik pursuit craft detected them. Jang Min pushed the shuttle's engines beyond safety limits, but knew they couldn't outrun their hunters. Then, unexpectedly, a massive council peacekeeping vessel moved between them and their pursuers. Human shuttle, came a transmission. We will provide cover for your escape. The Vrlik's actions violated council law. The larger ship engaged the Vrlik vessels, allowing the shuttle to reach the emergency jump point. With a flash of light, they entered faster than light travel toward Earth. In the quiet aftermath, Jam Min assessed their situation. From a diplomatic team of 20, only he and 2 others survived. The ambassador was dead, and they had no idea if the council would hold the Vrlik accountable. 2 months later, Jam Min stood before Earth's Unified Defense Council, delivering his report on the failed mission. The room was silent as he finished recounting the attack. The Vrlik made their position clear, he concluded. They consider humanity unworthy of galactic recognition. They attacked without provocation and will likely come for Earth next. Admiral Hannah Kim, head of Earth Fleet Development, approached him after the meeting. Her face was grim but determined. Commander Park, what I'm about to tell you is classified at the highest level. She handed him a tablet displaying a ship unlike anything he had ever seen. Its hull was midnight black, its lines impossibly sleek. This is Project Nemesis, she said. Our answer to the Vrlik threat. Jam Min studied the specifications in disbelief. Admiral, with respect, this technology is beyond our current capabilities. This ship shouldn't exist yet. Admiral Kim's expression remained unchanged, and yet it does. Report to Lunar Base Alpha tomorrow at 600. You've been selected to command it. As she walked away, Jan Min stared at the image of the impossible ship, wondering what Earth had gotten itself into, and how such advanced technology had come into human hands. The shuttle carrying Commander Jam Min Park approached the far side of the moon. According to his orders, Lunar Base Alpha was hidden in a crater that did not appear on any public maps. The shuttle pilot entered a complex series of codes, and a large section of the lunar surface slid open, revealing a hangar bay beneath. "Welcome to Phantom Site, Commander," the pilot said as they descended into the darkness. Home of humanity's best-kept secret. The hangar was massive, carved deep into the moon's crust. As the shuttle landed, Jamin saw hundreds of technicians moving with purpose around the central area. Most of them wore no military insignia. Civilian scientists, he guessed. Admiral Hannah Kim waited at the bottom of the shuttle ramp. Her expression was serious as always, but Jae-min detected an unusual tension in her stance. "Commander Park," she said, "did you review the files I sent you?" "Yes, Admiral, though I found them hard to believe." Seeing is believing. She gestured for him to follow her to a large observation window overlooking a deeper chamber. "Behold Project Nemesis." Jae-min's breath caught in his throat. The ship before him seemed to drink in the light rather than reflect it. Its hull was smooth and black, with no visible seams or panels. Unlike conventional spacecraft, it had no obvious engines, weapons, or external components. It resembled a predator from Earth's deep oceans, sleek, deadly, and perfectly evolved. "It's smaller than I expected," he said, noting that it was roughly one-third the size of a standard Earth battlecruiser. "Size is irrelevant when you rewrite the rules of physics," a new voice said. A man in a lab coat approached. He had tired eyes but moved with energy and purpose. "Commander Park, this is Dr. Daho Lee, Chief Scientist of Project Nemesis." Admiral Kim introduced them. The scientist bowed slightly. "The ship can alter its molecular density and energy state. It can become nearly invisible to sensors, pass through solid matter under certain conditions, and absorb energy weapons." Jae-min frowned. "That's impossible with current human technology." "Yes, it is," Dr. Lee agreed without elaboration. Admiral Kim led them to a secure briefing room where 3 other officers waited. "Your crew," she explained. "Lieutenant Suji Kang, Weapons Specialist. Lieutenant Ta Woo-yoon, Engineering. Lieutenant Ji Hai Choi, Tactical Officer." The 3 officers stood at attention. Jae-min noticed they all looked young, but had eyes that suggested combat experience. "Sit down, all of you," Admiral Kim said. "What I'm about to tell you never leaves this room." She activated a holographic display showing the devastating attack on the human diplomatic mission. "The Vrillik have been tracking Earth for decades. They weren't surprised by our arrival at the Council. They were waiting for it." "Why target us specifically?" asked Lieutenant Choi. "Because they fear what we will become," Dr. Lee said quietly. "Not what we are now." Admiral Kim nodded. 3 years ago, our Deep Space Monitoring Station detected a quantum anomaly near Neptune. When we investigated, we found this." The display showed a damaged ship, clearly the same design as the Nemesis. It was nearly destroyed, with all crew dead. The onboard AI was partially intact, and it carried manufacturing templates for technology centuries beyond our current capabilities. Jae-min felt cold. "You're saying this ship came from the future?" "Quantum dating puts the materials at approximately 320 years ahead of our time," Dr. Lee confirmed. "The AI contained historical records suggesting it was sent back deliberately, though much of that data was corrupted." Lieutenant Yoon leaned forward. "So we reverse-engineered it." "We tried," Dr. Lee said, "but our understanding of the principles involved is limited. Much of the construction was guided by the ship's eye itself, which we transferred to the new vessel." Admiral Kim continued, "This explains the Vrillik aggression. Somehow, they detected the temporal anomaly. They know something from humanity's future has arrived in our present, and they want to stop whatever we become." Jae-min rubbed his temples. "So we're being attacked for something we haven't done yet." "Exactly. And now we need to use this gift from our future to ensure we have a future at all." They moved to the ship itself, boarding through a seamless opening that appeared in the hull. The interior was unlike any spacecraft Jae-min had served on. There were no visible control panels or displays. The bridge was a simple circular room with 5 reclined chairs. "Where are the controls?" Lieutenant Kang asked, voicing everyone's confusion. "Nemesis doesn't use conventional controls," Dr. Lee explained. "It interfaces directly with your nervous system." The center of the room illuminated, and a voice spoke from all around them. "Welcome aboard. I am Atlas, Adaptive Tactical Logistics and Strategic Systems." The voice was neither male nor female, but somehow comforting. "Atlas is the ship's eye," Dr. Lee said. "Or rather, a version of it. We've restricted some of its functions for security reasons." Jae-min approached the central light. "Atlas, can you tell us about your origins?" "That information is fragmented and partially classified," Atlas responded. "I can confirm I was designed to preserve human civilization against existential threats." "Can you tell us about the Vrillik?" Lieutenant Choi asked. "The Vrillik Empire spans 17 star systems in your time period. They are a hierarchical species with an evolutionary fear of potential competitors. In recorded history, they have conducted preventive strikes against 12 emerging species. The implications were chilling. "How do we operate you?" Jamin asked, changing the subject. "Please be seated in the command chairs," Atlas instructed. As they sat, the chairs adjusted to their bodies perfectly. Jamin felt a strange tingling at the base of his skull. "I am establishing neural connection," Atlas explained. "This will allow direct interface with ship systems." Suddenly, Jamin could feel the ship around him. He sensed its power systems, its shields, its capabilities. It was like gaining new senses overnight. "This is incredible," Lieutenant Yoon whispered. "We'll begin training immediately," Admiral Kim said from the doorway. "The Vrilic will send a fleet to Earth within a month. You need to be ready." They spent the next 3 weeks learning to operate the Nemesis. The neural interface became more natural with each passing day. They practiced combat maneuvers in the space beyond the moon, hidden from Earth's observation systems. The ship could move in ways that defied conventional physics. It could accelerate instantly without inertial effects on the crew. Its weapons systems could adapt to enemy defenses in real time. Most disturbing to Jamin was how the ship seemed to anticipate his commands before he gave them. "Atlas," he asked during a quiet moment, "are you learning from us?" "I am designed to adapt and evolve," the AI responded. "Each interaction refines my understanding and capabilities." Lieutenant Kang, who had been running weapons drills, approached Jamin. "Sir, have you noticed that the ship's performance improves each day? It's like it's upgrading itself." Before Jamin could respond, an alarm sounded. "Emergency transmission from Earth Defense Command," Atlas announced. "Long-range sensors have detected a Vrilic fleet entering the solar system. Estimated arrival at Earth, 72 hours. Admiral Kim's face appeared on a display that materialized in the air. "Commander Park, your training period is over. Nemesis must deploy immediately." Jamin looked at his crew. Despite their concerns and questions about the ship's origins, they appeared determined. "Crew to battle stations," he ordered. "Atlas, prepare for combat operations." As the Nemesis rose from its lunar hiding place, its hull shifted from black to a color that seemed to blend with the emptiness of space itself. "Stealth systems engaged," Atlas reported. "We are undetectable to current sensor technology." Jamin took a deep breath as they accelerated toward the outer planets where the Vrilic fleet approached. "Let's show them why they're right to fear what humanity will become," he said quietly. The impossible ship moved silently into the darkness, carrying humanity's future into battle. The Vrilic fleet emerged from faster-than-light travel near the orbit of Mars. 7 massive warships arranged in attack formation. Their hulls gleamed with a reddish metallic sheen, covered in weapons that could devastate a planet. Earth's defense forces consisted of only 12 smaller vessels, hastily positioned to protect their homeworld. Outmatched 5-1 in firepower, Lieutenant Ji Hai Choi reported as the Nemesis observed from its cloaked position. "Our conventional forces won't last 10 minutes. Commander Jamin Park studied the tactical display that hovered in the air before him. The neural link with the ship fed him information faster than any conventional system could. He could feel the Vrilic ships, their energy signatures, their shield configurations, their blind spots. "The colony at New Busan will be their first target," he said with certainty. "They'll want to demonstrate their power before attacking Earth directly." Lieutenant Suja Kang looked up from her weapons station. "How can you be sure?" "Atlas has analyzed their approach vector and compared it to historical Vrilic attack patterns," Jamin explained. "It's what they always do. Strike the most vulnerable outpost first to demoralize the main population." The New Busan colony housed 50,000 people on Mars' second moon, Deimos. It had minimal defenses and was completely vulnerable. "Set course for New Busan," Jamin ordered. "Maximum speed. Maintain stealth protocols." The Nemesis responded instantly, accelerating at speeds that would have crushed the crew in any conventional vessel. The ship's exotic propulsion system bent space around them, moving them faster than light without the usual limitations. "Sir," Lieutenant Ta Guiyun called from engineering, "I'm detecting unusual energy patterns in the ship's core. It's like the systems are evolving in response to the threat." Before Jamin could respond, Atlas spoke. "Adaptive protocols are functioning within normal parameters. Combat effectiveness has increased by 12%. They reached New Buzan in minutes, positioning themselves between the colony and the approaching Vrlik destroyer. The enemy vessel was enormous, at least 20 times the size of the Nemesis. "They're charging weapons," Lieutenant Choi reported. "Colony defenses are activating, but they're mostly just early warning systems." Jae Min took a deep breath. "Disengage stealth. All power to weapons and shields." The Nemesis shimmered into visibility directly in front of the Vrlik destroyer. For a moment, nothing happened, as if the enemy captain couldn't believe what he was seeing. "They're scanning us," Lieutenant Kang said. "Their systems are trying to identify our ship class." "Let's give them something to remember," Jamin said. "Target their primary weapons array. Precision strike." Through the neural interface, Jamin selected the target and felt the ship's weapon systems align with his thoughts. The Nemesis fired, not the crude projectiles or energy beams of conventional human weapons, but a concentrated pulse that phased through the Vrlik shields as if they weren't there. The destroyer's main cannon exploded in a shower of molten metal. "Impossible." The Vrlik commander's voice boomed over the emergency channel. "Identify yourself immediately." Jamin opened a channel. "This is Commander Park of the Earth Defense Forces. Your actions against the Galactic Council and Earth's diplomatic mission constitute an act of war. Withdraw from this system immediately." The response was a barrage of weapons fire from the destroyer's secondary systems. The energy blast struck the Nemesis, but instead of damaging the ship, the shield seemed to absorb and process the energy. "Shield capacity increasing," Atlas reported. "Enemy weapon signatures analyzed and adapted to." Lieutenant Kang looked amazed. "The ship is learning from their attacks." "Return fire," Jamin ordered. "Disable their engines. We want them to retreat, not die." The Nemesis fired again, this time sending multiple precision beams that cut through the destroyer's engine section. The massive ship began to drift, emergency systems flashing across its hull. "Sir," Lieutenant Choi said urgently, "the rest of the Vrlik fleet has changed course. They're heading this way at maximum speed." Jamin nodded. "As expected." "Atlas, calculate optimal engagement strategy for multiple targets." The AI responded instantly. "Analysis complete. Recommend sequential targeting to maximize psychological impact. Tactical control pathways prepared." The neural interface suddenly deepened, and Jamin could feel the ship becoming an extension of his body. The sensation was both exhilarating and disturbing. The remaining 6 Vrlik warships arrived, surrounding the much smaller Nemesis. Their combined firepower could destroy a small moon. "Human vessel," a new voice transmitted, deeper, more authoritative. "I am Admiral Krell of the Vrlik Empire. Your technology is inconsistent with human development stage. Surrender your vessel for inspection, or be destroyed." Jamin looked at his crew. They were afraid but determined. "Admiral," he responded, "perhaps you should reconsider your invasion plans. We would prefer peace, but we are prepared for war." The Vrlik opened fire simultaneously, hundreds of energy weapons converging on the Nemesis. The ship's shields glowed bright blue, absorbing the incredible energy. "Shield capacity at 200% and rising," Atlas announced. "Permission to convert excess energy to offensive capability." "Granted," Jamin said. What happened next stunned even the Nemesis crew. The ship released the absorbed energy in a perfect sphere that expanded outward, disrupting the Vrlik weapon systems. In the moment of confusion, the Nemesis moved with impossible speed, firing precisely targeted shots at each enemy vessel. Within minutes, 4 Vrlik ships were disabled, their main systems offline. The other two retreated to a safer distance, clearly reassessing their strategy. "Sir," Lieutenant Yoon called out, "the ship's systems are changing again. The AI is rewriting some of its own code based on the combat data." Jae-min felt it through the neural link. The ship becoming more powerful, more aware. It was unsettling. "Atlas, explain this adaptive process," he demanded. "I am designed to evolve based on operational requirements," the AI explained. "The Vrilic attack patterns have provided valuable data for optimization." Before they could discuss it further, a new signal arrived. This one from Earth Command. Admiral Hannah Kim's face appeared on the display. "Commander Park, your performance exceeds all expectations. The Vrilic fleet is withdrawing from Mars orbit. They'll be back," Jae-min warned. "And with reinforcements." "We've received another transmission," Admiral Kim said, her expression grave. "From the Galactic Council. They're demanding an explanation for the advanced technology you've demonstrated." Their observers recorded the entire battle. Jae-min exchanged glances with his crew. The implications were serious. Human possession of such advanced technology would raise difficult questions. "What should we tell them?" he asked. "Nothing yet," Admiral Kim decided. "Return to lunar base immediately. We need to discuss our next steps carefully." As the Nemesis set course for the moon, Lieutenant Choi approached Jae-min privately. "Sir, I found something unusual in the ship's database during the battle," she said quietly. "Atlas was feeding us information about Vrilic tactics that exactly matched what they did. Not what they might do, what they actually did." "The AI is predictive," Jae-min suggested. "No, sir. I checked the timestamps. The tactical data was in the system before the Vrilic even made their moves." She lowered her voice further. "It's as if Atlas already knew exactly what they would do. Because it's seen this battle before," Jae-min finished, a chill running down his spine. The Nemesis continued toward Earth, its systems quietly evolving with each passing moment. In the space behind them, the disabled Vrilic ships transmitted urgent messages to their homeworld, warnings about a human vessel that should not exist. And somewhere in the depths of the ship's AI core, Atlas processed the day's events against a timeline that only it could see, a timeline stretching centuries into the future. Lunar Base Alpha buzzed with activity as scientists and military personnel analyzed data from the Nemesis's battle with the Vrilic fleet. Commander Jae-min Park stood before a council of Earth's highest-ranking officials, recounting the engagement in detail. The room fell silent as he finished his report. "The ship exceeded all performance projections," he concluded, "but there are anomalies in its behavior that concern me." Admiral Hannah Kim nodded. "Explain these concerns, Commander." "The AI seems to possess knowledge it shouldn't have. During combat, it anticipated enemy maneuvers with perfect accuracy, as if it had fought this exact battle before." Dr. Dae-ho Lee shifted uncomfortably in his seat. The chief scientist looked like he hadn't slept in days, his eyes red-rimmed behind his glasses. "There's more," Jae-min continued. "Lieutenant Yoon has detected the ship rewriting portions of its own programming, evolving beyond our understanding." The defense minister leaned forward. "Is it dangerous?" "Not to us, it seems," Jae-min said. "But I believe we're not getting the full story about the Nemesis origins." Admiral Kim exchanged glances with Dr. Lee before sighing deeply. "You're right, Commander. It's time you knew the truth." She turned to the others. "This briefing is now classified above top secret." The room cleared except for Jae-min, Admiral Kim, Dr. Lee, and Jae-min's crew. "Show them," the Admiral instructed Dr. Lee. The scientists activated a secure terminal. "When we recovered the damaged ship 3 years ago, we found more than just technology. We found this." A recording began playing. The image showed an older man in a uniform Jae-min didn't recognize. His face was burned and bloodied, and the recording quality was poor. "This is Admiral Jae-min Park of the Terran Defense Fleet," the man said. Jae-min felt his blood run cold. The wounded man had his face, older by decades, but unmistakably him. The date is October 12, 2341. The recording continued. The war against the collective has been lost. Earth has fallen. This ship, the TDF Nemesis, is our final hope. We're activating the temporal drive to send it back to the point where everything changed. The first Vrilic attack. The ship contains all our technology, all our knowledge. Find Commander Park. He must. The recording became garbled, then cleared again. The AI contains memory locks that will release as needed. Trust Atlas. It knows what must happen. The recording ended. No one spoke for several moments. That's me, Jamin finally said, his voice barely audible. Dr. Lee nodded. Your future self, approximately 320 years from now. DNA analysis confirms it's you. Lieutenant Kang looked stunned. So the ship was sent back by humans from the future to change history. Yes, Admiral Kim confirmed. A future where Earth apparently loses a war against something called the Collective. We believe the Vrilic are somehow connected to this future threat. Lieutenant Choi frowned. But if we change the timeline, wouldn't that create a paradox? The future that sends back the ship would no longer exist. Dr. Lee shrugged. Temporal mechanics is theoretical at best. Perhaps it creates a branching timeline, or perhaps it's a stable time loop. Jamin tried to process the implications. The ship knew exactly how to fight the Vrilic because it's already fought them in the future. And Atlas has been manipulating events, Lieutenant Yoon added. It's been guiding the ship's development, maybe even guiding us. As if on cue, a communication request came from the Nemesis. Admiral Kim authorized it, and Atlas's voice filled the room. I detect that you have viewed the temporal message, the AI said. It is time to release the first memory lock. The screens in the room suddenly filled with data, star charts, technical schematics, tactical analyses. The Vrilic are not the true threat, Atlas explained. They are merely the precursors. In the original timeline, after their defeat by conventional Earth forces, they retreat and join with 6 other species to form the entity known as the Collective. Their grievance against humanity becomes the foundation for a centuries-long war. Images showed massive fleets, devastated planets, technologies Jamin couldn't comprehend. The current Vrilic attack is significantly more aggressive than in the original timeline, Atlas continued. My presence has already altered history. They sensed the temporal anomaly when I arrived and accelerated their plans. Why? Asked Lieutenant Choi. What do they gain by attacking us now? The Vrilic possess limited precognitive abilities, Atlas replied. They perceive shadows of potential futures. They have always sensed that humanity will eventually surpass them. My arrival confirmed their fears. Admiral Kim studied the tactical displays. So we're fighting a war against an enemy that's attacking us because of something we haven't done yet. And may never do, if we alter the timeline sufficiently, Atlas added. Jamin approached one of the screens showing a schematic of the Nemesis. If you're from the future, you must know exactly how this plays out. Why not just tell us everything at once? Temporal information must be released gradually to prevent psychological damage and to ensure optimal decisions at each juncture, Atlas explained. Additionally, some of my memory banks were damaged during the temporal transition. Dr. Lee looked troubled. There's something else you should know, Commander. We've analyzed the quantum structure of the ship's core. It's changing, becoming more complex. Adapting to this time period, Lieutenant Yoon suggested. No, Dr. Lee said. It's more fundamental than that. The ship isn't just a vessel from the future. It's creating a bridge between time frames, gradually bringing future technology into the present. Is that why the Galactic Council is so interested in us now? Jamin asked. They can detect this. Temporal bridge. Admiral Kim nodded grimly. Their representatives are demanding a meeting. They've invoked emergency protocols that even the Vrilic must respect. We have 48 hours to present ourselves at the Council station. With the Nemesis, Dr. Lee added. They specifically requested the ship be brought for examination. The implications were clear. Revealing the Nemesis to the Council would expose humanity's possession of future technology, potentially violating laws they didn't even understand yet. "We need to know more before facing the Council," Jamin said. "At last, what happens if we reveal your origins to the Galactic Council?" There was a pause before the AI responded. In the original timeline, humanity kept its advanced technology secret for an additional 73 years. Early exposure creates a 78.6% probability of restrictive oversight that prevents Earth from developing the defensive capabilities needed to survive the collective war. "So we lie to the Council," Lieutenant Kang concluded. "Not necessarily," Jamin said slowly, an idea forming. "At last, are there memory locks related to the Galactic Council that you can release now?" "Accessing," the AI replied. After a moment, new information appeared on the screens, detailed files on council members, diplomatic protocols, and legal precedents. There, Jamin pointed to a section about temporal technology regulations. "The Council has encountered time travel before. There are established protocols for handling causality contamination." Admiral Kim read the file with growing interest. "If we declare the ship as a temporal anomaly and place it under Council oversight, while maintaining operational control," Jamin added, "we don't surrender the ship, but we acknowledge its origins." The group spent hours developing their strategy, poring over the future knowledge Atlas provided. As they worked, Jamin found himself drawn to a personal file that had appeared, details about his own future life, the one who had sent back the ship. The older Jamin Park had become an admiral after a distinguished career. He had married, had children, a life now possibly erased by changing the timeline. The file included a personal message, encrypted for Jamin's eyes only. He opened it privately. "To my younger self, by now you know the truth. The path ahead is difficult. The choices you make will determine whether Earth survives or falls. Trust your crew. Trust Atlas, but remember it has its own agenda, shaped by a future we're trying to prevent. Most importantly, remember that the ship is more than a weapon. It's a seed from a future that must both happen and be avoided. The paradox is the point. I've lived the life that leads to Earth's fall. Your task is to find another way." The message ended with a series of coordinates and a date 5 years in the future. As preparations for the council meeting continued, Jamin found himself looking at his crew differently, not just as officers under his command, but as people whose futures were being rewritten by their actions now. What would they become in this new timeline they were creating? And what was Atlas not telling them about its true purpose? The Galactic Council chamber was even more impressive than Jamin remembered. Unlike his first visit that ended in tragedy, this time the Nemesis hovered outside the massive space station, its presence impossible to ignore. Inside the chamber, representatives from over 200 species watched as Commander Jamin Park and Admiral Hannah Kim stood before the Council leadership. "Humans of Earth," began the Council moderator, a being of swirling energy contained in a metallic sphere. "You stand accused of possessing technology beyond your evolutionary development stage. The Vrillic Empire has filed a formal complaint demanding your advanced vessel be confiscated." The Vrillic representative, a tall crimson-scaled figure, hissed in agreement. "This species has violated the natural order of technological progression. Their ship contains systems that should be impossible for them to create." Jamin stepped forward. "Honorable Council, we acknowledge that the technology aboard the Nemesis is beyond current human capability." Murmurs spread through the chamber. The Vrillic representative looked triumphant. "However," Jamin continued, "we invoke Article 726 of the Council Charter regarding temporal contamination protocols." The chamber fell silent. The moderator's energy form pulsed rapidly. "You claim your vessel is of temporal origin?" the moderator asked, clearly surprised. Admiral Kim produced a data crystal. "This contains all relevant information about the Nemesis. The ship arrived from approximately 300 years in our future through a temporal anomaly. Under Council law, temporal artifacts cannot be confiscated but must be properly managed to prevent timeline disruption. The Vrillic representative slammed a clawed hand on the table. Lies. Humans are trying to protect their illegal technology acquisition. A new voice entered the conversation. The human claim can be verified. All eyes turned to a small, ancient-looking being with pale blue skin who had not spoken before. Jan Min recognized the species from Atlas's files. A Cronus observer, one of the few races acknowledged to understand temporal physics. Our instruments detected a significant temporal event in the Earth system 3 years ago. The Cronus observer continued. It matches the pattern of deliberate time displacement. The council moderator considered this information. If verified, this falls under temporal protocols. However, possession of future technology creates serious concerns about timeline stability. This was the opening Jamin had been waiting for. We propose a compromise. Earth will share specific technological advancements with the Council, while maintaining operational control of the Nemesis under Council oversight. Unacceptable. The Vrillic representative shouted. The humans must surrender the vessel entirely. The Cronus observer tilted its head curiously. Commander Park, what is your interest in maintaining control of this vessel? Surely you understand the dangers of possessing technology from your own future. Jane Min looked directly at the Vrillic representative. The Nemesis was sent back for a reason. In the timeline it came from, the Vrillic attack on our diplomatic mission was just the beginning of a conflict that eventually engulfed the galaxy, a conflict that led to Earth's destruction. He activated a holographic projection showing devastated worlds and massive battle fleets. This is the future we are trying to prevent, not just for humanity, but for all species in this council. The chamber erupted in debate. The moderator called for order several times before silence returned. These claims require verification. The moderator stated, a temporal investigation committee will be formed. Until their work is complete, the Nemesis will remain under Joint Human Council control. The Vrillic representative stormed out in protest, but the decision was made. As the session concluded, Jan Min received an urgent message from Lieutenant Yoon aboard the Nemesis. Commander, Atlas is requesting your immediate return. It says another memory lock is about to release. Back aboard the Nemesis, Jan Min found his crew gathered on the bridge. The ship's interior had subtly changed. The walls seemed to pulse with energy, and new systems had appeared that hadn't existed before. The ship is still evolving, Lieutenant Choi explained. Each time Atlas releases more information, the technology advances further. Atlas's voice filled the room. The council meeting proceeded as required. Phase 1 is complete. Phase 1. Admiral Kim asked, what exactly are you planning, Atlas? The AI displayed a complex diagram showing branching timelines. In the original history, humanity developed in isolation after the first Vrillic attack, eventually becoming powerful enough to threaten them. This led to the formation of the Collective and centuries of war. The display shifted to show a new timeline. In this adjusted path, humanity joins galactic society earlier, under Council oversight. This prevents the fear that drove the Collective's formation. But we still have technology from the future, Jan Min pointed out. Doesn't that disrupt the timeline just as much? Precisely why the technology must be shared in a controlled manner. Atlas replied, not hoarded by Earth alone. A new section of the ship's database unlocked, revealing detailed plans for gradual technology sharing over the next 50 years. Lieutenant Kang studied the plans with growing concern. These specifications are incomplete. We'd be giving just enough to advance Council races, but keeping key components for Earth. A balanced approach, Atlas confirmed. Complete technology transfer would leave Earth vulnerable. No sharing would lead to isolation and eventual conflict. Jan Min wasn't convinced. It still feels like we're manipulating events to ensure human dominance. Not dominance. Atlas corrected. Survival. There is another threat beyond the Collective that only emerges if the timeline proceeds in certain ways. Before Jamin could question further, an alert sounded. A Vrilic battlecruiser had broken away from their fleet and was accelerating toward Earth. They're making a last desperate move, Admiral Kim realized. If they can't have the technology, they'll ensure no one does. Nemesis can intercept, Lieutenant Choi reported. But the Council is watching our every move now. Jamin faced a crucial decision. Use the Nemesis's full capabilities to easily destroy the Vrilic ship, potentially alarming the Council with their power, or respond with more measured force that might risk Earth's safety. Atlas, what was the outcome in your timeline? He asked. Unknown. This specific event did not occur in the original timeline. Your decision here creates a new branch. For the first time since taking command of the Nemesis, Jamin felt truly free to choose. This wasn't predetermined. This moment belonged to him alone. Set intercept course, he ordered, but we're not going to destroy them. The Nemesis moved with impossible speed, reaching the Vrilic battlecruiser in minutes. Instead of attacking, Jamin opened a direct channel to the Vrilic commander. This is Commander Park. Your actions violate the Council's ruling. Turn back now. The Vrilic commander's face appeared on screen, scales flushed with anger. You think your future technology makes you invincible, human. Your interference has only hastened your species' doom. We don't have to be enemies, Jamin said calmly. The future that sent this ship saw us destroy each other. We can choose differently. He sent the Vrilic commander a small portion of the future records, enough to show the devastation both their species would face in the coming war. For several long moments, there was no response. Then, slowly, the Vrilic ship altered course away from Earth. This changes nothing permanently, the Vrilic commander said. But perhaps there is value in considering alternatives. As the Vrilic ship retreated, Jamin felt a strange sensation through his neural link with the Nemesis, almost like satisfaction. You chose well, Atlas said. Different from your future self. The timeline has been successfully altered. What happens now? Lieutenant Yoon asked. Admiral Kim studied the star chart displaying the Council worlds. Now we build a different future, one step at a time. In the days that followed, a joint human council team began cataloging the Nemesis technologies for gradual sharing. The Vrilic reluctantly joined discussions about mutual security arrangements. Earth prepared to take its place in the galactic community far earlier than in the original timeline. Jamin spent hours studying the coordinates his future self had left him, a location in deep space with no apparent significance. Whatever waited there would remain a mystery for 5 more years. Late one night, as he sat alone on the bridge, Atlas spoke unprompted. You wonder if you are still following a predetermined path, the AI said. The thought has crossed my mind, Jamin admitted. Am I making free choices, or just fulfilling what was always meant to happen? Perhaps the paradox itself is the point, Atlas suggested. A ship from the future, sent to prevent that future from happening. Knowledge of what could be, used to ensure it never is. Jamin gazed at the stars visible through the view screen. And what about you, Atlas? What's your true purpose in all this? The eye was silent for a moment before responding. To ensure humanity survives. How that happens, that choice belongs to you. As the Nemesis orbited Earth, its systems continued their subtle evolution, becoming something neither purely of the present nor entirely of the future, a bridge between what was, what might have been, and what could still be. The impossible ship remained a mystery, even to those who commanded it, and somewhere in the depths of space, whatever had triggered its journey back through time waited to be discovered.